Today is gonna be the day. Oh, that they'll throw it all back. Oh, to you. You know, Matt, open mic last night. Everybody's, average to sub-average, or most everybody played an open mic. And so the one guy was playing, Matt, and I'm like, oh my God, he sounds like Katharine Hepburn. And we were crying. Katharine Hepburn singing Bob Dylan. It would have, and I'm inspired to maybe doing a whole album of shorts, like Weird Al style. Yeah. Only about 15 seconds each song. Like, Katharine can't do the whole song.
She does not have a stamina.
Man, and we thought about
Wonderwall. What a great song! I love that song. And third single off their classic album, What's the Story? Morning Glory. Such a great album. It's about his then girlfriend Meg Matthews, as he told some of the magazines back in the day.
Man, I'm mostly inspired by the lyrics, because today is the day.
I know,
right? That they're going to throw it all back to you. That's what we need. We talk a lot about the desire for powerful people to be more powerful, and the new world order and world government. Not so much a conspiracy theory anymore, as far as I'm concerned. And the pushback is hyper localization. All right, I talked about it for years at Manja TV. Like, the key is strong local communities. Fuck the global empire. We don't need that. We need strong. Anyway, Matt, hey, congratulations to you. Congratulations to me. We knocked it out of the park yesterday. 2,200 views. Please share, retweet right now. Retweet right now. We're going to talk a lot of great things today, including price discovery at some point. Matt, first of all, you shared this. And when I saw it, I immediately, of course, because I hate Michigan, so I have to have an immediate retort, right? The only team in the country with a top 5 offense and defense. That's great. Matt, do you know that the early 2000 San Diego Chargers led the NFL in offense, number 1, or maybe it was the AFC, led the AFC, number 1 in offense, number 1 in defense, and did not make the playoffs?
No, I did not know that.
It seems impossible. Because, Matt, there's more than offense and defense, right? There's 3 phases. Their special teams were so bad, they didn't make the playoffs.
Interesting.
Crazy. So I'm just going to push back here.
Were those the Eric Coryell days? With
no. This is in like semi. As we age, everything, like, it's 20 years ago is 2000, but that's as far as I'm concerned, 22 years is modern times.
Yes.
In fact, 40 years is modern times as far as I'm concerned.
SBF probably wasn't even born, but okay.
We're gonna get the little Sammy. I don't know where I should go first. It's a target rich environment. We shared this yesterday, Matt. Political cartoons. I think they're going to be great again, because it's hard to censor cartoons. I think that's the beauty here. Like, you don't have to say anything. A picture tells 1,000 words. Yep. That we should have been doing this all along with the Sir Jab-a-Lot. But then you shared this one, and this one I like even better. And I'm going to get rid of myself. I can do that here. This technology, I can just disappear me. So we get a good look at this one. Ben Garrison, Sam Bankman-Fraud's hair is it's big, Matt. It's big. The anti-Trump bet, Alameda, to Democrats, money laundering, to Ukraine, the Biden campaign, blame yourself, no stops.
WEF,
Zelensky. I mean, it's a target-rich environment here on where this all the tentacles of this goes.
So great. But nobody, we won't talk about any of those stories.
And it's like how do you cancel this if like in Twitter of the old days? Like, how do you, like, they should have had a political cartoon of Hunter and his laptop, right? That would have been like, wait a second, it's just a political cartoon.
Yeah.
And speaking of cartoons, and And I wish there were, I got to honest to God, man, I wish there was some price discovery. Like, is there any way to no, not that one. Hold on. That's next. We talked about this yesterday, man, and I got a follow-up. Today's all about follow-up stories. Son of a bitch. Lee, get in the booth here and figure this shit out. Here it is, Matt. You shared. You can't make this up if you tried. This is from Nancy Pelosi Stock Tracker. The 30th of this month, the New York Times was planning a truth serum special. Hosted a live event with Sam Bankman-Fried, Zelensky, Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, U.S. Treasury, Janet Yellen as the main.
I'm surprised Klausy wasn't there.
I'm going to bring in Klaus is going to be on the beach in his tutu, but that's another story for another time. Anyway, like there's no price discovery here that we can get to. Unfortunately, like New York Times is a private company, is it not? Or who owns it?
I don't know.
Can we sell them short? Can we sell them short?
But we can look at BlackRock. We can look at BlackRock, actually, Larry Fink.
Please, thank you. Please and thank you.
So let's look at Larry and see how his recovery has been for BlackRock the last few weeks, and just
like
as
the rest of the market,
just as expected, all assets are one. They all move in concert. There's nothing original going on. Speaking of Katharine Hepburn and original covers, there's nothing going on really original except for all assets are one. They go up together, they go down together, including gold, right? So yeah, we actually took out the high that we saw there in August, 763, and again traded down huge. I mean, this was call that a 30% move down to 500. Now, back here, this is almost a 30%, let's see, 30% would be, what would be 150. So yeah, I mean, way more than 30%, right? Huge move. 280. Excuse me. What am I talking about here? This is about a 30%, 60% move, right? 60% of that is 300, almost up to 800. Holy smokes. Nothing to see here. Nothing.
That's insane. That is an insane. Congratulations if you caught some of this.
Yeah.
For me, Matt, floors become ceilings, ceilings become floors. And,
let's fractal out and look at this from a couple different levels. I just want to see a fib number here from the high to the low. It's pretty close, and boom, the 61.8 magic golden ratio comes into play, and it halts it, along with a very fat value zone that we went to the top of, right? So again, we keep talking about this. The ceilings become.
And by the way, let me say this. Let me implore you, if you have TradingView and you want this profile script, because it is the best profile script I've ever seen on any trading front end or charting front end. It is by far the most powerful that I've ever seen. Available at margaretvetals.io. Join the community, and you can get the script for TradingView. Definitely TradingView. Ow! TradingView. I used it back in the day when I traded Procter and Gamble. Oh.
So anyways, if you were paying attention, banged up there and has sold off already 10% and still still on a bullish bent. But I would say that this looks like it's feeling heavy and toppy a little bit, as the market also follow the dollar. The dollar has been leading us as the dollar is trying to put in a little bit of a bottom today, and we could look at that real quick also.
Yeah. Let's look at the US dollarino for sure.
And we got back over 107 today, but I think we've pulled back a little bit since.
Your internet is like news out of Ukraine. Slow.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, we got up to 107.25 and 106, kind of rolling over here again. And that makes sense why. And then the market decided to rally off of that, I guess. So again, the Republicans are digging into the Hunter Biden laptop 47.
No, actually, what I saw, Matt, was that like they could give a shit about that. They said it verbatim, investigation is about Joe Biden.
They did.
Joe Biden.
Well, they said the whole family, but
Joe
anyway, anyways, that was on C-SPAN. I don't think any mainstream press even covered the story except for C-SPAN, which is the government entity to push.
I'm surprised that wasn't shut down.
I'm surprised, right?
Matt, this was a share behind me. And it was from the Real Fly, shared it. I think it's a Bloomberg article. Is that a Bloomberg front end graphic? We like to give praise to where it came from. But man, is that ever crystal clear on just how inverted this yield curve is? Most since 1982, and the way I'm looking at it is blown 82 looked like a small outbreak compared to what's going on now.
Yeah. The 2-year is now 4.44 as we speak today, and the 10-year is down to 3.78. So again, we were talking about 50 cent, half a dollar, 0.5% spreads or whatever, because these are percentages. But now we're talking, 0.7. I mean, it is
almost a full basis point.
0.7. So that spread is just widening, even though rates have come off and, all the housing stocks have rallied. And by the way, with that, let's look at those a little bit, because I think there's a trade there too. On, let's just bring up some of the housing index stocks. And you and I were talking about this yesterday, so it's not as present today, but they have fallen off now. And, the XHB and the IYR, the two, big daddy ETFs that trade and match the movement of housing stocks. But the XHB ran up here to about 64 and is now has rolled over pretty hard today. Again, I think that yield curve is kind of shocking some people back to reality. And again, very slow here. I apologize. But it might be the ice. It might be the ice outside.
It's the freezing fog. It's going to be a good picture taking day today. You can get your Christmas card photo op done today, as all of the branches have beautiful ice on them.
They do. Good luck getting your kids together, though. They're going to be crying how cold it is when they go outside in their shorts, though. Because
I'm very interesting here on how this one has re-entered this value range. Why wouldn't it play ping pong?
So 75, 20, again, a 20% move, 20% move since the middle of October to the middle of November. We've had a 20% move. So these have been some monster moves. Again, there's nothing fundamental that has happened. We're just squeezing. We're in the squeeze zone of the bear market. And these are the most vicious moves. So don't be thinking you're smart because every asset class went up together. You're not smart. It's just a squeeze, and it's maybe done. It may have more to go. I mean, we're in an intraday squeeze today. They took them down overnight, and now they're taking them back to where we broke down. Much to do about nothing.
Matt, let me share, and again, let me share some standard deviation nuance. Matt, and if everybody else doesn't know, I spent the last maybe 5 years of my trading career in the lean hog complex, and a lot of spreading going on in the lean hogs. And I'm still still frequently in connection with a lot of people still trading this complex. And the text chatter yesterday was, well, it looks like there's some bad news coming down the pike, and things are going to get pressured. But I think that the farther end of the curve is going to be hit harder. And a lot of these guys, that's all they do is trade the spread. Right. And I immediately chimed in and shared this chart and said, that's fine, but this chart, it's the standard deviation modeling, it is falling away to the downside. Don't think the Fed's going to outperform D's if you look at this chart. You're fighting City Hall. And this is so important when the standard deviation modeling, and I keep coming back to slope, Matt. Slope is the most important thing. I'll give you a Katharine Hepburn on it. Like, don't fight the slope. Yeah, please don't fight the slope. The slope is everything. It's the other side of the momentum coin. Like, what's the momentum? Okay, which direction? What's the slope? What's the slope of the standard deviation modeling? And I got some praises this morning because some of them, took their foot off the gas pedal on their fundamental opinion. Like your fundamental opinion can be anything, whatever it is. You think you have better information on the fundamentals, that's fine. But if it doesn't align with the technicals, what's going on the chart, that's the greatest thing that you can learn, is that I'm not going to fight City Hall. I am not going to fight the chart. And when you do that, you save yourself a lot of heartache, Matt, because the big losses that are married to your opinion are far more damaging emotionally than big wins. Like the big wins don't feel as good as the bad losses hurt. They never have, and they never do.
Yeah,
and actually,
and I think that all comes down to the time frame that you behave in. I mean, if it's a quarterly chart, you're still long, right? You're talking about those quarterly charts, like you haven't been shaken out. Weekly, all the other time frames, it's kind of flipped, right? And so which time frame are you trading, and behave on that? If you're trading real small intraday, it's even more important to not fight City Hall, because those trends can go up until they stop. So wait until they stop. It doesn't, you don't have to, by trying to guess a top or a bottom as things are diving down or scrolling and rolling up, it's an impossibility. So wait until the market gives you some more information that shows, hey, we've kind of exhausted ourselves, and maybe we're going to retrace and run back the other way. That's a lot easier to wait for that than to try to predict a top or a bottom. It's just a fool's game.
And wait a second. I know I know the situation on the ground. Well, you can know the situation on the ground, and it can be disconnected from the price.
Yep.
That's why, especially in a leveraged environment, the price is the only thing that matters. Nothing else matters except price. Nothing. All right, what else do we got, Matt? A little cheer here on our natural gas opinions. Pretty good rally going on.
We talked about it obviously yesterday. We said buy down there in the $5.76 range, and today it's up 5% again. And I will bring up that chart. And again, I'm going to bring up a middling chart as far as time frame. And again, we had this move up to the sevens last week. We came back into the zone that we talked about. I mean, we talked about it yesterday, and now please take some profits. If you were buying this yesterday down here at the 580s, 570s, up here at 650, I mean, that is a freaking home run, motherfucker. So take some profits, and you can leave a couple on. You can leave a couple on.
Yes, you can.
And see if we run it up here. But you should also probably be out if it gets below, say, 630. So very defined here. That's 20 cents, which is a wide move. I mean, we've already moved, from yesterday, again, 580 up to today, almost 660, Bob. That's,
I mean, in a previous lifetime, that was a year's worth of price discovery.
Absolutely. And this is, again, and we talked about UNG yesterday. So, if you're not into the levered game of commodities and futures, well, you could have picked this up yesterday at 18s, and it's up here to 21. So again, that's a 10% move handed to you in one day. Take some profits. Because that 10% is great, and it could run 20. I'm not saying it can't go back and test this 23, but don't bet on it. Take some off. That way you can buy it back when it comes down in here again.
Bingo.
Ebb and flow. Nothing goes straight up, nothing goes straight down, except FTT and SBK. And then everything goes straight.
It's interesting, Matt, because this is just from what I've read, the threads that I've read, they're expensive. You know how they were doing their expense accounts?
No.
In a chat. Just send me a chat room.
I need $62,000. Yeah.
And the fact is that the SEC is in they got a lot of explaining to do, because they seem to have very friendly relations with Sam and his crew, and it's from the bankruptcy discovery, you didn't have to dig very hard to see that the thing was a total shit show as far as compliance is concerned. Show me your expense reports and how you're paying that back. Oh, it's all via a chat. You just put it in, and then a month later it gets deleted. Well, so how do you go back and reconcile any of your expenses if it all just got I mean, it is beyond brutal.
Well,
And
and I don't know if you saw, Tim Knight was actually talking about who their accountants were. Have you seen this stuff too?
no, if it's Dewey Cheatham, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, dude, it's even better. I mean, it's literally like meet the metaverse nightclub loving audit firm that presided over FTX's financials.
Again, they're doing the reconciliation install number 2.
FTX auditor Prager Metis reported the company earned $1 billion in revenue in 21. An investigation by CoinDesk reveals Prager. So CoinDesk is shitting on FTX. I love it.
Well, CoinDesk, got honest to God, it was the ones that as far as I know, they broke most of the story.
But listen to this. Reveals Prager Metis also operates in Decentraland, where it sponsors the Decentraland baby dolls.
Well, it's like crypto kitties, Matt.
I mean, what are we talking about here? The audit, and then the guy who's over the Enron lawyer says the audit firm for the .com silo was Prager blah blah, a firm which I am not familiar with and whose website indicates they're the first ever CPA firm to officially open its metaverse headquarters in the metaverse platform, Decentraland. The guy says I have substantial concerns as to the information presented in these audited financial statements, especially with respect to the .com silo. As a practical matter, I do not believe it appropriate for stakeholders or the court to rely on the audited financial statements as a reliable indication of the financial circumstances of these silos. Good night, Irene.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. It's like Stops as it's not a very evolved risk management tool. Stops.
Right.
We just go into the metaverse and have a giant circle jerk, and then we all feel better, and everything's okay.
I literally can't believe this. Like
I can't. And again, back to the regulators, because it's not like they weren't making statements and involved. And in fact, going back to our earlier graphic, the great investigative newspaper, the New York Times, was ready to put them on stage. Let's go. Let's talk.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk all about how great you are. Wow. All right, man. What else? Anything else? Anything else jumping out at you? We got Thursday Night Football. Is there any other price discovery that you want to chime in on? Lee, is there anything that we need to make your life better?
No, nickel has been going through the roof again.
I did see that. I
don't recommend anybody trade it, but it's been levered up in the nickel market. But again, it's up another 8% today. But this is really hard to see. Like, again, and I'll bring up the contract here, but it just doesn't trade. So please don't trade nickel ever. Don't. Unless you're FTX.
Matt, you bring it up, and then we got to talk OJ. I know we're early on the OJ talk because the winter that's going to affect the wintering. That's going to affect.
This thing was 1796 at the end of October and is up to 2,500 here. Don't forget this thing was 5,800. So this thing went crazy before. Remember that it went crazy in March and then collapsed all the way back down to, I guess, normal.
Very lumber-esque.
Yeah, but it's even worse than lumber. It's even worse than lumber. Absolutely. Do not trade this. Do not ever trade this.
Futures Commission merchants warning, Will Robinson.
Yeah.
Warning. All right, Matt. I wanted to share the OJ frozen concentrated.
Okay.
Frozen concentrated, and it's interesting. It's very interesting. Let me share it. Gotta figure out how. There we go. Because for my money, this double top here, where it hasn't quite got to there yet. And this was actually in the same time period back in 16, October through November. I actually thought more of this scare usually came earlier in the spring. Like, and we've covered OJ before, Matt, and uncovered some facts that we didn't know. And there's more than one harvest for OJ, but the biggest one comes in March or April, I believe, guaranteed, probably, as always on Market Vitals.
Yeah,
we
but we had
covered.
talked about that, the likelihood of a double top here too, and it already ran up to 220 and now is back to 200. So it's come off 10% from the high already.
My
And
my my thought on this is going forward is any pullbacks to this like 170 area.
uh
You got to pay attention to it because the information that we shared yesterday, counter to Bloomberg calling for an incredibly mild winter, the incredible freezing air mass in the Arctic is the things, and we've covered it before on the polar vortex, and when it collapses and plunges and can wipe out an orange crop. So I'm telling you, I'm early right now. I'm early, but it is in the back of my mind. All right, it is in the back of my mind, and that's one thing that we do. You keep it in the back
well,
of your mind.
you said 172, and I would like to cover my short down there, so I'm good with that.
Beautiful. Is that point of control? Do you know the point of control?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a question that you should be asking yourself every day. Do I know what the point of control is?
On your time frame, whatever time frame you're trading. Are you trading a quarterly chart, a 3-month chart? What are you trading?
Bingo. Do I know what the value range is? Do I know what the point of control is? Do I know what the standard deviation momentum lines are?
Do I know
where
if
the
it's bullish or
collars are?
bearish? Do I know who the strong hands are? What weak hands are? Where are they in the chart? Where are they?
All right,
Yeah,
that one too, Matt. Floors become ceilings, and that ceiling now certainly looks like it's become a floor. Again, we haven't even started winter yet, so
right.
We will see if Bloomberg is right. Or
and again, this is a quarterly chart. A 6-month chart looks a little different, but that's why you go through these exercises. The 6-month chart, bottomed in June and ran all the way from the June lows of about 150 up to 2. So that was a 50% move, monster move. And now, this does on a 2-hour chart appears to be rolling over for the first time in a while. So, and it's run back to an area probably where I would be a seller again. So this 205, 208 area, that looks right where we are kind of right now. We traded up to 202 today, but again, that looks like it wants to roll over a little bit. Yep. Still, that's the trade within the trade.
All right. Anything else, Matt? Anything else?
Well, so who do you like tonight? You got the Packers and Titans.
Dude, of course I like the Titans, and I hope Aaron Rodgers gets broken in half.
I like the Packers. We avoid the brokerage fee. Thank you.
Let's go Aaron Rodgers rushing yards. I'll make the over/under.
It opened at 1.5 because of Aaron Rodgers and the freshman wide receivers performance last week. It's expanded to 3.5. So you got lucky. I have to beat you by more than a field goal.
I'm gonna make the prop bet though. The prop bet is Aaron Rodgers rushing yards.
Who cares?
I'm gonna say 7. What do you want? Over or under on?
I'll take the over. I'll take the
over on 7. All right.
I'll take the over.
Here's my thinking on it, Matt. He's going to scramble at least once and make 15, 17 yards, but he's also going to get sacked 5 times.
I understand.
I mean, and that's how you got to. That's why this is a tricky bet.
He's got to get on his horse more because they're in the frozen tundra. Although, how about the story that's evolving? Again, these governors, what do they like more than anything? Emergency power. And Kathy, now that she's been anointed and voted in, the governor wants to shut down Buffalo because they could get up to 6 feet. So she's declaring a state of emergency.
Hey, Matt, do you know that back in the day in New York in particular, there was a huge scandal on people betting snow accumulation for the year. No. And it was, these trading desks were just, there was more money being gambled on the snow options. That's just human nature, right? With money against money, people like to gamble. That's what they like to do. Matt, I want to share one thing, and I highly recommend. We talk narratives all the time, and Dave, the curmudgeon column, shared this. And it's an interview with Colonel Douglas McGregor, and his take on Ukraine. And when you watch it, like so many things, Matt, it raises more questions than answers, especially the questions about how come the narrative is so far from the reality that this guy, and I'm not saying that he's right, but the reality that he's painting on what's going on the ground there. It's insane, the disconnect between truth and whose truth, I guess, is what I'm saying. And if you believe the mainstream media narrative, maybe you should listen to the point counterpoint, the other side of the story, from this man's perspective. And he's fairly well connected and has a fairly decent resume, which would indicate that he knows what the hell he's talking about. Anyway, thought I'd share it. Follow Dave, by the way, if you don't follow Dave. Anything else? Anything else? I got to get back to learning this Oasis song. Lee's taking the under on Aaron Rodgers, 7 yards. Write it down. Aaron Rodgers, 7 yards rushing. I'm writing it down. Over under. So I just got out of the bet, right? Because you took the over, Lee took the under. I'll just collect the
so now you're saying SBF?
Yeah, now I'm just the exchange.
I see.
I'm just the exchange.
You're out of it. Yeah, you've washed it.
I got a Boston coffee party going here, man.
I got my third iced coffee. It's chilly. It's
All
60.
right. Anything else, man? And we got to, it's tough when you have such a good show to back-to-back nights are really difficult when you're out there on stage. Anyway, let me bring back that in. I'm going to tell me. So there I was, open mic, terrible, just terrible. It's so hard. You can practice all you want. The only way to get really good at it is forget the practicing. You need, there is something to be said. Well, I just saw a movie too. And this is true with trading too. So you either got to trade smaller or trade the micros or something, because you need at-bats and you need real at-bats, right? You need real, not paper trading. That's all bullshit. Paper trading is a bunch of bullshit. Back testing. I back tested my model. I've lost more money deploying a back tested model than anything else. We back tested it. It's great. Turn it on, loser. Thank you. The only way to do it is to get in the cage. You get at bats.
Yeah.
Get up on stage and sing it and be terrible. And be like the Beatles, you get in that bar and you play 5-hour sets for 3 years, and then wow, all of a sudden you're an incredibly tight band because of all of those at bats.
It's interesting. Everybody was watching the 3960 level all week, right? And of course it breaks while everybody, unless you had a sell stop. I'm going to just show you this real quick because
please do.
Because I think it's a good, it doesn't sometimes, like to your point. Like if you have a strategy or you only trade during open market hours, you probably miss the easy trade, which was the short trade. And again, it's because everybody could see that 3960. So if you had a sell stop in last night while you were sleeping at 3960, and again, we trickled up here to 3990 last night, or you said, I want to sell anything back into this meet, 3990 to 4010 also would have been a way to play it. And then plunge it. So let's say you sold some here at 39.90 and then you sold some at 39.58. Well, as soon as the market opened, you cover that up. You wash it down because you fell out of what you did is you went 50 points, which is what this is. This is a $50 value zone.
Another nuance.
Those people, but they will put their stops 50 points below whatever. That's like their number, right? So that becomes like the 50 becomes like the stops. So all those get run. And guess what? We traded all the way down to like 39.12. So you would have got your 50 points, 60 down to 10. And now what we've done is we've crawled back to the breakdown line of 60 and to the value zone. So again, after a big move down, you get the requisite bounce. 90 to 10 is 80. Halfway back is 40, which is 50. 39.50. We've gone through that, and now we are somewhere. This fib doesn't matter for today. This was yesterday's interest fib. So now what you can do is you can either draw, a fib from last night's high or yesterday's high, which was about the same intraday. And then, you start breaking through this level up here, which is right where we are. You get through 61, we might go to 90 again. We might go to 40-10 again, right? And we're back into the argument. This is the argument. This is the argument zone right now. Mostly bearish unless they're able to get it back above 40-10.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done. It's like you're a drug dealer on a street corner. You know the market so well. And you know the flow. That's what it is.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. That's
and
it.
39 was, and 3,900, by the way, was a level that should have held, and it did. So, and that's where you can see that again on a longer term chart. Let me just bring that up. So we came down to here, got some support. As long as 3,900 holds, likely will hold. And what was that? Oh, that was the CPI number. That was where we took off from at 530. Gotcha. So now the references come back into play. We come into a weekend where they got a holiday coming up. Super light volume yesterday. Super light volume today. Not a lot going on.
No, it's beginning to look a lot like the holidays,
Yep.
and it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas outside here. All right, man.
And you see the NASDAQ and the same thing. Like it fell through to the hole here, but it paused. And by the way, the next time it won't pause at that same level. If it goes back down to 3,900, it'll most likely whoosh through it and could fall pretty significantly, say 38, 3870, 60, somewhere in there. And then, from there, the big hold is back down here at 3,800. That's for a 2-week chart, right? And you have to look, you start fractaling 1 day, 2 day, 5 day, 2 weeks, etc. That's how you should look at markets. That's how you're going to find these levels and know them. You got to own, like you said, know the levels. If you want to trade intraday, you need to know the levels on all time frames, from the three month quarterly charts that Bob likes to look at, all the way down to the 1 day charts. You got to know the levels, and the the quarterly charts aren't going to change that much. So you look at those.
Absolutely. It's just a frame of reference. It's a potentiality if-then statement that obviously takes a lot of time to work out.
And what I would do is I would write down those levels, get used to writing them down. Where's the point of control on a 1 day, 2 day, 5 day, 10 day, 1 month, 3 month, etc. And start knowing those levels. You'll start sleeping with those numbers and you'll know what they are. You need to be intimate with them. Otherwise, you're never going to succeed. You're never going to succeed.
Slow down. Now, you went all Hunter Biden on me with the numbers. But again, Matthew, available. These scripts are available at marketvitals.io, the standard deviation modeling and the market profile, or what else do they use for market profile? Because that's a trademarked word, market profile.
Order flow.
Owned by the CME and CQG. Order flow. Right. There we go. Order flow.
Price action, whatever you want to call it. That's all the same. Garbage.
All right, Matt. Thank you so much. Go Titans. And we'll be back tomorrow for another segment of Market Vitals. Please share, retweet, and plagiarize. Please join us at marketvitals.io. Please head over to amazon.com and make my day. Order some Shrimp Mojo. It is the best Cajun spice on the market. And it is like having a flavor arsenal in your pantry. It makes life so much easier when you're cooking for your crew to have some Shrimp Mojo on hand. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Bobby. Thanks, Lee.